Pakistan is cracking down on Uyghur Muslims who fled China. Pakistan's police are now deporting Uyghurs back to China due to pressure from the Chinese government. Although Pakistan has a strong identity as an Islamic nation, the promise of Chinese money seemingly overpowers the urge to stop what is happening to Uyghur Muslims in the Chinese nation. A Uyghur refugee in Pakistan named Ghafoor stated that the Pakistani government would do anything China orders them to do. As a result, Pakistan is no longer a safe haven for this Muslim minority group. The founder of the China-Pakistan Institute, Mushahid Hussain, agrees with Prime Minister Imran Khan and sees the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CPEC, which is a series of substantial infrastructure projects in the nation, as a substantial economic win for Pakistan. Umer Mohammed Khan, a school teacher turned activist, runs an underground railroad allowing Uyghurs to escape China. Deputy Chief of Mission at the Chinese Embassy in Islamabad, Lijian Zhao, considers Khan and other Uyghurs in Pakistan as members of the East Turkestan Islamic Movement, or ETIM, which is a group responsible for several violent attacks inside China, like the 2005 attack in Urumqi in the Xinjiang region. So, this Chinese official in Pakistan considers this school teacher turned activist who helps people escape as basically part of a terrorist organization, as we say here, because of having to use coded language because of the YouTube algorithm.
All right. I want to say a few things, okay? I don't like, sometimes I'm lost for words because Pakistan goes around and tries to police other countries, and portrays people's commentary and cartoons about Islam as a violation of human rights and oppression of Muslims, and makes itself act like a champion for Muslims, for going to telling countries like France to behave better and treat Muslims better by stopping people from drawing cartoons of Muhammad, right? But it's not enough for them to be such fucking hypocrites to go and oppress non-Muslims and atheists, secularists. No, they have to also do this to Ahmadis and Shias, who are supposed to be like their fellow Muslims as well, right? So to be hypocrites, like, yeah, not only we don't violate human rights of non-Muslims in the most hypocritical way, while we act like we're defending Muslims just because we defend their feelings rather than actual harm to Muslims, right? We're going to actually violate people's human rights, but not just non-Muslims, also Muslims who are not Sunni, like us, who do not accept our brand of Islam. But no, even that is not enough. Even that is not enough. Even Sunni Muslims who are being put in concentration camps and killed and tortured in the most vile, aggressive ways, on scales that we have not seen since World War II. We are going to take the side of the people who is actually oppressing the Muslims, not just with words. Because yes, it wasn't enough for us to send a congratulation, like accept China, be like, yes, you're doing the right thing. Sorry, we criticize you. Just words betraying your fellow Muslims by words was not enough. No, we are going to climb to the highest amount of hypocrisy anybody could ever get to by getting involved, by physically removing these people who are trying to get protection in a fellow Islamic countries against a government that is coming after them because of their religion, we are going to take part in and taking the side of their oppressors and removing them. Not only we're not calling this out as a crime against our fellow human beings, fellow Muslims. Not only we're not going to say something bad, condemn it, we are actually going to get involved. We are going to send these people back into the wolf's belly. Like who? Why would? Like how are Muslims? Where? Like guys, okay? If you are a Muslim, okay, and you claim, if you have said anything about oppression of Muslims, okay, I call upon you to speak against this, okay? You are a Muslim, okay? If you have spoken out against Israel, if you have spoken against United States oppression of Muslims in anywhere, okay, you better get on this as well, because you are part of the problem if you can't even call this out, if you are not becoming an active on this issue. This is the greatest human rights violation. One of the, I don't know, maybe the Yemeni one is more, but this is one of the greatest human rights violations of our time, okay? If you don't want to be one of those people that future generations are going to say, why were they silent? How could they have been silent? What happened to never again? What the fuck happened to never again? Never again turned into over and over again.
You know what, Armin? It's not just that Pakistan is siding with China. They are doing China's dirty work for them.
Yeah.
By forcibly deporting people back to the region that oppressed them and caused them to come as a refugee to Pakistan. So they're doing the dirty work for them. There's like, oh, don't worry, we'll do it for you. And I find it really objectionable. And this is just, Pakistan is busy defending the faith, but not the victims who are of that faith.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly, yes.
That's what they're interested in doing, is making sure that the idea of Islam and the religion itself is protected. But Muslims who are followers of that ideology don't count in the same way, because they're not Musliming properly, the right way. It's not the right kind of Musliming. And I think that also this really enrages me, because Pakistan has so much to say, as you said, about other countries demanding the UN adopt their version of resolutions about their version of Islamophobia and not allowing people to speak against someone's ideology, all these things that they want the rest of the world to do. And they're also very busy saying that they support Muslims, but it often seems to me really the only Muslims they support are themselves and anybody who's against, any Muslim who's fighting against the United States or Israel. Everybody else they don't care about.
So I would like to recommend to everyone to go on YouTube and just go to the Vice News channel and go look for this news. Just type like Pakistan Uyghurs. You'll probably find it. They did a really good profile on the teacher that is mentioned in this article who runs this underground railroad trying to get Uyghurs safely from the Xinjiang region. And then he is now, so he built this school in Pakistan where he would teach Uyghur children their language. And they showed videos of him with this school where he's pointing out cultural artifacts, pictures of architecture and places in Xinjiang, teaching the children, like, this is what your history is, this is what your culture is, because they've never been there. These are the clothes that we wear. This is how we sing. And he called it School of the Mother Tongue. because he says, without our language, we have nothing. And it was about his efforts to help these children know where they come from and know how to speak their language, because that's one of the most important things they have in terms of maintaining their identity, because the Chinese government, especially in the Xinjiang region, is actively trying to make people lose it. You can be basically people, it will raise red flags if you're speaking it. And it's gotten to the point where he has now had to close his school and flee that region. And he's now looking for a way to leave Pakistan himself, because he's afraid that through these Belt and Road initiatives, if Pakistan isn't able to return these high interest loans, China can start seizing land. We've seen it play out in ports in Sri Lanka. And he's worried that Pakistan will essentially just become a colony of China. And he's already received, he says that neighbors are encouraged, they are paid to file reports about like ex-Chinese, like Chinese expats, basically, that describe, what does this person look like who comes into your home? What do the people who come visit your neighbors look like? What language do they speak? And he receives files asking for his biological data to prove who can be sent back to China, essentially. These forms even have the Pakistani and Chinese flag on them. And he was holding this form and he was saying, this form demanding our bio data, this is more dangerous to us than bullets, because you're trying to expose who we are ethnically, so you can hunt us out and persecute us. And they talk about how people who live in Pakistan, they are afraid to return to China. They're afraid to let alone contact their family in China, because they are well aware of the fact that there's a high likelihood that they could be beaten, seized from their families, taken to concentration camps, and tortured, essentially. And so, yeah, it's just this, I mean, I almost started crying watching it, this really touching profile about this man and what his community and his heritage means to him, and now how he has to leave too. Like, he can't even maintain his work in the same way of trying to help people flee this persecution, because he now has to flee from Pakistan itself.
Your point about the language is really important, because there were some similarities to what you were talking about in terms of some things that happened with Native Americans in the United States, putting them in different schools, not letting them speak their language, making them change their names, as a way to take that identity out of them. And it's very similar. And the whole time, all I could think of is, like, we need like an Operation Solomon for the Uyghurs, which is when Israel brought all the Ethiopian Jews. They like flew a plane in there, got them all in there, and brought them out. I almost feel like there's got to be, there's so many Muslim countries that have so much wealth and are constantly chanting about, caring about Muslims of the world. There's none of them seem to be interested in these individuals. And it's just very, very sad. And it is the textbook definition of hypocrisy.
A lot of people keep arguing whether Gaza is an open prison or it's not an open prison. But the camps that China has built for Muslims, there's no arguing that that's a goddamn prison, right? So if you can we get like a fraction of the attention that we get for Muslims in Gaza or anybody in Gaza and the bad living conditions that they are? Again, I'm not trying to dismiss that. That deserves attention, okay? But can we get because a lot of Muslims pretend that they're defending them because they're Muslims and Muslims want to protect other Muslims, right? But this is like the level of evil that the CCP is involved with is like unimaginable. Like this is like villain, like fiction level villainism, right? This justifies like so much more attention. Can we get like a fraction of what we're getting? Like see all the news that we're getting about, you know, the situation in Gaza. Okay, I'm not saying reduce that. Okay,
Yeah,
increase that.
Wall to wall coverage.
Wall to wall, yeah, and don't stop any of that. Have all of that, but can we get just like a tenth, 1%, just 1% of that coverage about what China is doing across all these media, right? Anyways, you know, guys, here's the thing. You know, for Muslims, okay, I'm gonna give you an anti-atheism pass, okay? You use this as a way to scare people about atheism. If that's the excuse you need to talk about this, then go with that, okay? If you need something to make this more exciting for your platforms, be like, make atheism look bad. It doesn't matter. I don't care. If you want to make atheism look bad, as long as you're bringing attention to this, that's a fine price to pay, okay? Go be like, ooh, boogie, ooh, look at this. Look at what atheism is doing, okay? Do that. Scare people about atheism, about the evils of atheism. As long as you're bringing attention to this, I don't mind, okay?
Hey guys, if you're a fan of Blasphemy and Sexy Callie, like me, then you need to be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below. Because if you subscribe, we will send you a free copy of our Blasphemous Art ebook. And let me tell you, it is the tastiest blasphemy that you can find anywhere available today. And we are so generous with our blasphemy that we continue to send you more blasphemy every week. So make sure to subscribe, link in the description below.